Hello everyone, welcome to the daily current affair analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy 10th October 2025. Before getting into the discussion, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't, please do subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time updates from the Academy. Before moving to the topics for the discussion, we have an important announcement. It is regarding the pre-storming UPSC Prelims Test Series. The batch 2 will be starting on 16th October 2025 and the link for the registration is available on the website. Do register and crack the prelims in 2026. And coming to the topics for the discussion, the first topic is Down syndrome. So we know that in India, every year nearly 1.7 million children are born with some kind of congenital conditions, including Down syndrome. So in this topic, we will be discussing the basics about Down syndrome and what are the health issues faced by the people with the Down syndrome. And the next is the polycystic ovary syndrome. So we know that the month of September is observed as the awareness month for PCOS, that is polycystic ovary syndrome. So in this topic we'll be discussing what is PCOS and what are the health issues faced by the people with the PCOS. And the next is the Indian Air Force Day. We know that October 8th is celebrated as the Indian Air Force Day, and this year the Indian Air Force celebrated the 93rd Indian Air Force Day. And the next is regarding the cyber security, because we know that according to the recent report from the government, nearly 86% of households in India have internet connectivity. So in this topic, we will be discussing, what are the initiatives taken by the government to ensure the cyber security for the people. And finally, we will be discussing important prelims related topics in the Prelims Focus. If all set, let's begin the discussion with the first article. All you need to know about Down syndrome. The article is taken from The Hindu. So we know that Down syndrome, it's a genetic variation or a condition, and it affects the individuals irrespective of their socio-economic background and their geographical background. And in the case of India, every year nearly 1.7 million children are born with some kind of congenital conditions, including Down syndrome. So let us discuss more about the Down syndrome. So before understanding about the Down syndrome, we have to understand about two concepts. First is a chromosome and the second is chromosomal aberration. So we know that the chromosome, it's a package of DNA which contains gene, and that has the information for the growth and development of an organism. And in the case of humans, we have 23 pairs of chromosomes, and out of this 23 pairs of chromosomes, 22 pairs of chromosomes are known as autosomal chromosomes, which are responsible for the body trait of an individual, while the 23rd pair of the chromosome is known as sex chromosome, which determines the sex of an individual. And what is meant by chromosomal aberration? Chromosomal aberration means deviation in the structure or in the number of chromosomes. So we can see that if you take the chromosome, it is a pair. That means it has two, and the chromosomal aberration can be either trisomy or monosomy. So sometimes we'll see an addition, or an extra copy of a chromosome, or sometimes we'll be missing one chromosome. So that is known as monosomy. And if there is an extra copy, then that is known as trisomy. And if you look at this picture, you can see that all the chromosomes have same structure and number except one, that is the chromosome 21. So this variation is the reason behind the development of Down syndrome in the individuals. And you can see that it is caused by an extra copy of chromosome 21 or trisomy 21. That means we have an extra copy of chromosome 21. So chromosome is a pair of two, and if one is missing, that is known as monosomy. If there is an addition, that means if there is an extra chromosome, then that is known as trisomy. And the trisomy of the 21st chromosome is the reason behind the development of Down syndrome. And you can see that it affects the physical and the intellectual development of an individual. And coming to the diagnosis, so how we can diagnose the Down syndrome? So we can diagnose the Down syndrome even before and after the birth of a child. And before the birth of the child, we can use ultrasound scanning, blood test, chorionic villus sample. Here we will be collecting in this test, we will be collecting a cell from the placenta of the mother, and through that we will study the chromosomal abnormality. And the next is after the birth, we can use the physical signs of the children. For example, the children with the Down syndrome appear slightly different than others, and at the same time you can see that they may have problems in understanding things, and also they may face problem in speaking. So such a signs we can use to identify the Down syndrome. And finally, to confirm, we will use the karyotype test. So in the karyotype test, we will take the blood sample from the children, and through that we will study the chromosomal aberration. And it naturally occurs in all the populations, irrespective of their socio-economic background, environmental background, and you can see that irrespective of their parental behavior or lifestyle. And coming to the prevalence of Down syndrome, like I mentioned in the beginning, 1.7 million children in India are annually born with some kind of congenital conditions, including Down syndrome. But coming to the case of Down syndrome, it is recorded in 1 in every 800 to 1,000 live birth in India, and annually nearly 25 million Down syndrome cases are reported. And it is found in all regions, like I mentioned, irrespective of their economic, social and social background. And the major challenge in identifying the condition is the lack of early screening and the lack of accessibility to the healthcare in all the sections. And coming to the health considerations, so what are the major health problems faced by the people with the Down syndrome? The first major concern is the congenital heart defect. At the means heart defects at the time of birth. So the people with the Down syndrome may have certain structural problems in their heart, and that can affect the functioning of the heart. And this condition is reported in nearly 50% of the people with the Down syndrome. And the next major issue is the hypothyroidism and problems associated with hearing and vision, intestinal problems, and also high risk of development of various infections, sometimes even cancer. And you can see that according to a study published in the Journal of Pediatrics, you can see that if you take the life expectancy of the people with the Down syndrome, those who survived up to the age of 30, and you can see that out of the people without Down syndrome, that means those who survived up to the age of 30, and the people without Down syndrome, out of them nearly 79.2% of them survived, while the people with the heart defect and Down syndrome, only 49% of them survived. Once again, I'll repeat. So the people with the Down syndrome and without heart conditions, nearly 79% of them survived up to the age of 30, while the people with the Down syndrome and also with the heart defect, only 49% of them survived up to the age of 40. And this is highlighting the importance of early detection of various problems in the people with the Down syndrome and effective management, and need for effective management. And coming to the causes and risk factors, so like I mentioned, it has no link. The development of Down syndrome has no link with the lifestyle, environment, or the parental behavior. It is caused by an extra chromosome in the 21st chromosome, or the trisomy in 21st chromosome. And certain cases, the advanced maternal age increases the risk of Down syndrome, and but at the same time, it can happen at any maternal age. So, like I mentioned, it has no connections with the lifestyle, environment, or the parental behavior. It is purely genetic. It is caused by genetics and natural variations, and this is very important. This we have to make the people aware that it has no connections with any lifestyle, environment, or parental reasons. It is caused by genetic variations or natural variations, and this is very important to create awareness and reduce the stigma surrounding the Down syndrome. So we can see that the people with the Down syndrome often face a lot of discrimination and bullying from the societies. So to reduce such issues, we have to create awareness, and for that we need a better understanding about this condition. And coming to the impact on lifespan and development, so like I mentioned, the people with the Down syndrome may also face certain complications such as high risk of developing infection, problems associated with the hearing and vision, and at the same time the major concern is the structural heart problems. So identifying these type of issues is very important to extend the life, as well as to improve the quality of life for the people with the Down syndrome. So improved healthcare has extended the life expectancy as well as the quality of life of the people with the Down syndrome, and for that we need a regular checkup, screening, and timely treatment to prevent the complications arising from certain issues that I mentioned before. And like I mentioned, like we discussed in the previous slide, you can see that the people with the Down syndrome but without major heart conditions, out of them nearly 79% of them survived even after the age of 30, while the people with the heart condition, out of the total population, only 49% of them are alive after the age of 30. So identifying this type of issues are very important to extend the life as well as to improve the quality of life for the people with the Down syndrome. And addition to that, we can also provide education and therapy in case of speech, occupation, and also physical therapy for the people who are facing physical problems. And also you can see that we can also provide special education programs and social inclusion initiatives to generate awareness and also to reduce the stigma surrounding the Down syndrome. So in this topic, we discussed the basics about the Down syndrome, and we have a prelims practice question. The question is, with reference to Down syndrome, consider the following statements. Statement 1, it's a genetic condition caused by the presence of an extra copy of chromosome 21. Statement 2, the risk of having child with the Down syndrome increases with the advanced maternal age. Statement 3, the condition can be prevented through changes in parental lifestyle and diet. Statement 4, it can be detected through prenatal diagnostic tests such as amniocentesis. So which of the above statements is or are correct? So from our discussion, we can see that the statement 3 is incorrect because it has no connection with the lifestyle or the parental behavior. So if we can eliminate the statement 3, we can eliminate the option B and option D. And the next option is the option A and option C. So we can see that it is a genetic condition caused by trisomy in chromosome 21. Yes, that is correct. So here the correct answer is option A, that is 1, 2 and 4 only. So with this, we will move to the next article. Understanding PCOS, what you need to know to effectively manage your health. The article is taken from The Hindu. So we know that the month of September was observed as the PCOS awareness month. So in this background, let us discuss more about the polycystic ovary syndrome. So coming to the PCOS or polycystic ovary syndrome, it's a hormonal condition that affects the functions of ovary in a woman. And you can see that we are using the term syndrome, not PCOD. So before that, we have heard about PCOD, in news or sometimes, in movies or in our neighborhood, we use the term PCOD instead of PCOS. But actually, it is wrong because it is a syndrome, which means it's a group of symptoms that appears together. It is not a particular or a single disease. So please understand, we should not use the term PCOD because it is not a disease. It's a group of syndrome that appears together. And some scientists are also suggesting other names like metabolic reproductive syndrome because it is not just affecting the reproductive capacity in a person, it is also affecting the metabolic activity in a person. So therefore, the scientists are also suggesting other names like metabolic reproductive syndrome. And coming to the history of the PCOS, so we can see that for the first time the condition was identified in the year 1935 by two doctors, that is Irwin Stein and Michael Leventhal. So therefore, this condition is also known as Stein-Leventhal syndrome. And you can see that but certain medical records from the early 18th century itself is showing talking about certain symptoms that are similar to PCOS, and it is very common, and it affects nearly 10 to 15% of women between the age group of 15 and 49, and it is recorded. The cases are recorded relatively higher in certain ethnic groups and families. And the next is symptoms and diagnosis. So you can see that the major symptoms are irregular periods, excessive oil skin, and excess hair growth on the face and body, and loss of hair on the scalp. So these are the major symptoms found in the women with the PCOS. And coming to the diagnosis criteria, so you can see that if out of so you can see that there are three major symptoms, that is irregular menstrual cycles, excessive male hormones such as acne, hair growth, and high estrogen. So and also you can see the polycystic ovaries are scanned using ultrasound. So out of these three, if two conditions are found in the women, then we can go for detailed examination. And coming to the causes of PCOS, so the exact cause behind the PCOS is not identified at present, but we can see that it is a result of many factors such as genetics. You can see that in our family, if our mother or our grandmother has PCOS, in that case there is a possibility for the PCOS in the upcoming generations. And the next is hormonal imbalance. For example, the high LH, that is luteinizing hormone. So the presence of this luteinizing hormone, high luteinizing hormone, can sometimes affect the functions of the ovary. And the next is the insulin resistance. So the body cells will not respond properly to the insulin. This can lead to high blood sugar level in the women, and at the same time increased androgens. So this increased androgens can lead to various other problems like overweight, loss of hair and all. And the next is certain medications, for example valproate. So this medicine is used to treat the people with the epilepsy. We know that it's a nerve condition caused by abnormal electric activity inside our brain. So the people with such conditions will take medications, and this can worsen the symptoms of PCOS. And the next is obesity. Automatically obesity will lead to hormonal imbalance, and this can worsen the PCOS. And the next is the impact on male. So the PCOS is not just affecting the women, it can also impact the male also. So we can see that the men from the family history with the family history of PCOS may show similar metabolic patterns. For example, loss of hair at the early age, possibility of diabetes, fatty liver, and high cholesterol level. And you can see that the effective methods to manage this condition are following healthy lifestyle. That means managing an ideal weight according to her height, at the same time practicing yoga, and you can see that intake of nutrition and food. So such changes in our lifestyle can reduce the intensity of the PCOS, and at the same time it will provide a better way to live healthy, even though we are at the high risk of developing such conditions. So in this topic, we discussed PCOS and its basic features. So we have a prelims practice question. The question is, with reference to polycystic ovary syndrome, consider the following statements. Statement 1, it is a disease caused primarily by bacterial infection of the ovaries. Statement 2, it is a hormonal syndrome that can affect metabolism, menstrual cycle, and fertility. And statement 3, it can only be diagnosed by the presence of cyst in the ovaries on an ultrasound. And statement 4, lifestyle modification plays a key role in the management. So from our discussion, we can see that the exact cause behind the PCOS is not identified. So therefore, we cannot conclude that it is caused primarily by the bacterial infection. But there are studies going in this direction also, but we cannot conclude it as of now. So therefore, the statement 1 is incorrect, and it can be only be identified by the presence of cyst in the ovaries. No, the other tests like irregular menstrual pattern. At the same time, you can see that other symptoms like excessive body hair growth in the body, or sometimes loss of hair on the head, other certain symptoms, insulin resistance, overweight. So such symptoms can also use it to identify or diagnose the PCOS. Therefore the statement 2 the statement 1 and statement 3 are incorrect. So the correct answer is option B, 2 and 4 only. Let's check. Yes, with this we will move to the next article. Air Force Day 2025. The article is taken from The Hindu. So we know that this year, that is the 8th October, the Indian Air Force celebrated the 93rd Indian Air Force Day, and the celebration was held in the Hindu Air Base in Ghaziabad, and the Air Chief Marshal AP Singh addressed the Indian Air Force and referred them as Air Warriors. And this year the theme for the Indian Air Force Day was the success of Indian Air Force in the Operation Sindoor. And coming to the Indian Air Force, its formation and evolution. So it was established on 8th October 1932 as a part of Royal Air Force of British. And after the independence, we dropped the prefix Royal and renamed the Air Force as Indian Air Force. And the motto is touch the sky with glory, and it is taken from Bhagavad Gita. And coming to the role and mission, so we can see that Indian Air Force is an integral and important organ of the Indian Armed Force, and the major role are protecting the Indian airspace, offensive operations against the enemy targets, for example the 2019 Balkot strike and the 2025 Operation Sindoor. And the next is strategic and tactical support during the time of wars and humanitarian assistance. So these are the major roles, the core roles of the Indian Air Force. And coming to the legislative and administrative framework for the Indian Air Force, we have the Indian Air Force Act of 1950, which was enacted on 26th January 1950, but the act came into force only on July 22nd, 1950. And it provides a legal framework regarding discipline, regulation, and administration of the Air Force, and also about the trial and punishment of punishments for the offences committed by the Indian Air Force personnel. And it also provides a framework regarding the command structure and code of conduct in the Indian Air Force. And under this Indian Air Force Act of 1950, we have the Air Force Rules of 1969, which provides detailed insight into the procedures for recruitment, service conditions, and court martials. And we can see that as Indian Air Force is a part of the Indian Armed Force, definitely. So the administrative control is with the Ministry of Defence. And coming to the major operations, so we can see that it was established in 1932 as a part of the Royal British Air Force, and definitely so the Indian air personnel played a crucial role during the time of the Second World War. And apart after that the major operations of the Indian Air Force were the Operation Cactus. Definitely after independence and before this Operation Cactus, the Indian Air Force played a crucial role in the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, and before that it played a crucial role in the 1965 Indo-Pakistan War and all. And in 1988 we supported the Maldives government when the Maldives faced a coup. And the next is the Operation Safat Sagar in the Kargil War of 1999. So it was the first it witnessed the first large scale use of air power in mountain warfare, and also we used laser guided bombs and Mirage 2000 aircraft to destroy the enemy positions, and marked India's entry into precision air warfare. And the next is the recent 2019 Balkot airstrike, which was a response to the Pulwama terror attack. And you can see that the Indian Air Force conducted operation in the Jaish-e-Mohammed training camp in Balkot in Pakistan, and we used the Mirage 2000 aircraft and the Spice 2000 bombs, and it marked the first major cross-border strike conducted by the Indian Air Force since the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. And through this Balkot strike, India reinforced the security doctrine of offensive defense. And the next is the Operation Sindoor, which was a response to the Pahalgam terror attack of 2025. So in the Operation Sindoor showcased the bold and precise air attack capacity of the Indian Air Force. And you can also see that in this operation, the majority of the components used by the Air Force were indigenously manufactured. That is a major highlight of the Operation Sindoor, and it was a great success. And we can see that even though Pakistan tried to escalate tension by sending a lot of drones and their weapons into Indian airbase, none of them touched the Indian soil. And now we have a prelims practice question. The question is, with reference to Indian Air Force, consider the following statement. Statement 1, the Indian Air Force was established in 1932 as an auxiliary force of Royal Air Force. Statement 2, the President of India is the Supreme Commander of the Indian Air Force. Statement 3, the Indian Air Force Act of 1950 provides that the legal framework for its administration and discipline. Which of the above statements is or are correct? So we can see that from our discussions, while we discussing the formation and evolution of the Indian Air Force, we discussed that it was a part of the British Royal Air Force in the year 1932. And the President of India is a Supreme Commander of the Indian Air Force. Yes, we know that it is mentioned in the polity, and he is the Chief Commander in Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Force. So definitely for the Indian Air Force also, he is the Supreme Commander. And the next is the option statement 3, the Indian Air Force Act of 1950 provides the legal framework for its administration and discipline. Yes, and under this we have the Indian Air Force rules of 1969 that provides more details about the recruitment, discipline, and court martials and all. So therefore all the 3 statements are correct. So the correct answer is option C, 1, 2 and 3. So with this we will move to the next article. Curbing cyber frauds in digital India. The article is taken from Press Information Bureau. So we can see that according to the recent report from the Government of India, we have nearly 86% of households in India with internet connectivity. No doubt it's a major development, it's a major achievement. But on the other side, there is also a concern, that the concern is about the cyber security. If you take the Crime in India report 2023 published by the National Crime Records Bureau, we can see that comparing with the 2022, there is an increase in the cyber crime by 31%. So this is indicating the need to improve the cyber security efforts in India. And coming to the major natures of cyber frauds, that includes phishing, spoofing, impersonation, deepfake, or data theft. And you can see that with the development of artificial intelligence, we can see many random deepfake videos even on our social media platforms, and this can be misused for various fraud activities. And the next is compromised UPI accounts are used for transaction of this illegally made money. And then the next major area of the cyber fraud is the online betting app. So you can see that certain online betting platforms or applications can be used to scam people. And you can see that according to the report from the Press Information Bureau, nearly 400 crore rupees are illegally generated using such online betting scams. And you can see that many crimes in India have relations or connections with organized crime syndicates in Southeast Asia. And the key legislations that we have to deal with the cyber frauds. The first is the Information Technology Act 2000. So it laid the foundation for the cyber law in India. So according to this act, the authorities can block malicious sites or content, and they can even persecute the offenders behind it. And the next is the IT Rules 2001. So it provides digital platforms more accountable, and also mandates the removal of unlawful activity. If the content in the online websites or in the online platforms are affecting the social harmony, or if it is affecting the dignity of a person, then using these rules, the authorities can remove such contents. And the next is the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2000. So it ensures the accountable handling of personal data. And the next is recent initiatives. What are the initiatives recently we have taken to ensure cyber security? First is a promotion and regulation of online gaming bill 2005. So you can see that nearly 400 plus rupees are generated using such online betting scam. So there comes the importance of this bill. So according this bill legalizes esports, but at the same time bans online money gaming and its related advertisements. And the next is cyber crisis management. So it provides guidelines about responding to cyber attacks. And under this program, under this plan, we have launched nearly 205 cyber security workshops. And the next is summon via platform. So it acts as an analytical tool to map cyber criminal linkages. So and using this platform, we have arrested nearly 12,000 plus people, and 1 lakh plus we have also identified nearly 1 lakh plus linkages. And the next is Cyhog portal. So it is a centralized system for removing unlawful online content. And coming to the exercises and major events, so we can see that currently the India Mobile Congress is going on. So it was started on 8th October, and it will go up to 11th October. So it is focusing on cybersecurity, 6G, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things, and telecom innovations. And for this program, we are expecting nearly 1.5 lakh visitors and 7,000 plus delegates. And the next initiative is the Bharat National Cybersecurity Exercise, and this was held in the 2025 between the month of July and August. And under this initiative, we have launched many seminars, workshops, and we also done many exercises. For example, the STRATEX means strategic decision making exercise. So using this such a simulation, we tested the real time response to the cyber breach. And what are the achievements from the government, or what are the major achievements that we have in fighting the cybercrime? So we can see that using all these initiatives, we have blocked nearly 9.42 lakh SIM cards and 263 lakh of IMEIs IDs. And the next is we can see that nearly 83,000 plus WhatsApp accounts got deactivated, and 3,000 plus Skype accounts also got deactivated, which were used for many illegal and other fraud activities. And you can see that we prevented nearly 5,489 crore rupees, which might have lost through the cyber crimes, cyber frauds. And the next is we have trained nearly 24,600 officials in the cyber security. So in this topic, we discussed the major initiatives taken by the government in the recent times to deal with the problem of the emerging concern of cyber crimes and cyber fraud. So based on this, we have a mains practice question here. The question is, the rapid growth of digital infrastructure in India has expanded both opportunity and vulnerability. Examine the institutional and legal frameworks established by the government of India to safeguard citizens against the cyber threats. So we have discussed the exercises, we have discussed the key legislations like IT Act, IT rules of 2021, and then we discussed the DPDP. So, and we can also see that we have conducted, like I mentioned, many exercises, and we can also talk about the achievements. So using our and we have various institutions. We have Ministry for Information and Technology, and we have cyber forensic labs. So you can talk about such initiatives, and you can write the answer and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer. And it's a 15 marks question, and you have to write around 250 words. Write it and post it in the comment section. Now we will move to the next article. So coming to the prelims focus, the first topic is Abhidhamma Divas. So Abhidhamma Divas is observed on the full moon day of Sharada Purnima, that is between the October 6 and 7, and the event was held in the Gautama Buddha University of the Greater Noida. And the event was organized by multiple institutions such as International Buddhist Federation along with the Gautama Buddha University of Delhi and Antarashtriya Baudh Sodh Sansthan along with the Ministry of Culture. And you can see that it is observed as a part to commemorate the occasion where the Gautama Buddha preached the Abhidharma to the gods of Tavatimsa, which was led by his mother Mahamaya. And after preaching the Abhidhamma to the gods of Tavatimsa, he he shared the Abhidhamma with his disciple Arhanta Sariputra. And you can see that as a part of the event, the institutions also organized a conference, an international conference on the theme, the relevance of Abhidhamma in understanding Buddhist thought, text, tradition, and contemporary perspectives. And the objective of this seminar was exploring the philosophical, ethical, and psychological dimensions of Abhidhamma and its relevance in the modern context. So the aim is to deepen the understanding about the Buddhist philosophy and thoughts. And the next is the securities transaction tax. So we know that it is a direct tax levied on the purchase and the sale of securities transacted on recognized stock exchanges in India, and the tax was introduced in the year 2004, and it is governed by the Securities Transaction Act. And you can see that the major benefits of this tax is it prevents the tax evasion, and the next is it discourages speculative trading. So you can see that the speculative tradings are short term tradings, or you can see that here the investors will try to make maximum profit using the present price fluctuations in the market. So comparing with the long term, the speculative trading is highly riskier. If you make profit, sometimes we can make huge profit, but if there is a loss, then that will be very huge. So why it is in the news? Because recently the Supreme Court has decided to examine the constitutional validity of the Securities Transaction Act. And the next is Nilagiri Tar Day. So you can see that it is observed on 7th October, and recently the Tamil Nadu Forest Department celebrated the Nilagiri Tar to commemorate the ERC, Davidar, a pioneer in the Nilagiri Tar research and conservation. So the aim is to elaborate on pivotal role played by the species of wild goat in formation of rivers that feed reservoirs to store water for the drinking purpose and agriculture. So simply it is about raising awareness about the conservation of the Nilagiri Tar and its role in ecological balance. So coming to the question session, we have a previous year question taken from UPSC Prelims 2022. The question is, with reference to Indian history, consider the following text: 1. Nittipagarana, 2. Parishishta Parvan, 3. Avadana Shataka, and 4. Trishadi Lakshana Mahapurana. Which of the above are Jaina text? So from the 4, we have to identify the Jaina text. Option A 1, 2 and 3, option B 2 and 4 only, option C 1, 3 and 4, and option D 2, 3 and 4. So we can see that out of the 4, 2 are Jain text. The first is the Parishishta Parvan, it is a Jain text, and the Trishadi Lakshana Mahapurana, it is also a Jain text. Remaining 2 are Buddhist scriptures. So here the correct answer is option B, 2 and 4 only. So with this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's discussion. So with this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's current affair analysis. If you like the video, hit the like button, give your feedback, comments, and share this content with your friends. And before leaving this channel, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time updates from the Academy. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.